Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to be making a video on a budget Swordsoul Tenyi deck, and the reason it's budget is because this deck is going to utilize a lot of normal and rare cards which you can craft easily. We're going to be using one copy of some of the more expensive cards that you get in like the packs, such as Mo Ye, one copy of Emergence, and the extra deck is really interesting because a lot of the really good extra deck cards are like ultra and super. So for this version, I cut it down to make it as basic as possible using only normal and rares, except for the boss monster, because the boss monsters are just so important that you at least should have one of them if you want to attempt to play this deck. Because trust me when I say this, there is no Synchro 10 in the game that's a normal and a rare that is good. All of them are like super ultra rare. Later in the video, there'll be an example of the deck that is more high rarity, which uses more of the good cards. Anyways, let's jump into the budget version. The deck list will be in the description below, and the other ones will also be in the comments. So starting off, we got 3 Tenyi Spirit Adhara. It's a rare, it's a level 1 tuner. You can special summon it if you control nothing, and it allows you to go into like combos, and it's really important that it's a tuner, because in this deck, if you're not able to get off your tokens from the normal Tenyi plays, this allows you to go into synchro plays. I would definitely run 3 of it. 1 Ash Blossom, it's available in the bundle. If you went for the bundle, you probably own this. It's a good hand trap, so I would run it. Only 1 Mo Ye because it's an ultra rare. If you don't have this, that's fine. You can replace it with something else, but it's in here because if you're probably going for this deck, you might already own 1 copy, and although it's better to run 3, if you own 1, run 1. Next, we got Swordsoul Taia. 3 of this. It's a rare card, really powerful. If it's on the field, you can banish a Swordsoul card in your graveyard, whether it be monster, spell, or trap, or a wyvern, and you could special summon a token and immediately either go into a synchro 8 or do some other plays. Virtual World Oto-Hime Toutou. It's a level 6 rare card where you can just normal summon it if you have a wyvern on your field, or if it's in your graveyard, you can discard a wyvern and special summon it as a tuner. One thing I will note, if you have more copies of any of the higher rarity cards, whether it be Swordsoul or Tenyi, I would definitely replace this card. This would be one of the first cards I replace. Next card is Swordsoul Strategist Longyuan. This card is really good. It's a rare. It's a good starter. If it's in your opening hand, you discard a wyvern or a Swordsoul card, you special summon it, you get a token, immediately can go into a synchro 10. I really like this card a lot. It is an extremely powerful and amazing card. It's probably one of the best rare cards in the entire deck. Next up, we got an interesting one. Swordsoul Auspice Chunjun. This is good because it has a quick effect. During the main phase, you can tribute a monster and special summon this. Also, if it's used for a synchro summon, you can banish a card on the field or in the graveyard. The reason it's not played a lot is because it doesn't get you a token. It doesn't immediately get you into a synchro summon. But in a deck where you can't use some more powerful, higher rarity cards, this is just good enough. You know, it's a Swordsoul. It does what it needs to do, and it kind of expands your deck a little further. Next up, we got Tenyi Spirit Vishuda. This card's amazing. Control no monsters, special summon it. It has a lot of defense. It has a kind of decent attack, so you can special summon an attack also. You can even go into like link plays and do combos. It's really cool. It's level 7. I really love it. Along with Tenyi Spirit Ashuna, I think this should be ran at 3 because it's just so important. If it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and special summon any Tenyi. Just basic back row removal, free to play stuff. We got Raigeki, we got Monster Reborn to expand plays. Lightning Storm comes in the bundle deal. This is Swordsoul Emergence. If you own more copies, I would definitely recommend running more copies. Essentially what this does is it adds a Swordsoul from your deck to your hand, or a wyvern if you control synchro. So it's pretty good. It allows you to like go into your plays a lot more easier. Now this is a really cool one. This has the effect where you can target a Swordsoul in your graveyard, or if you control a synchro monster, you can target a wyvern in your graveyard and special summon it. It's like a Monster Reborn, essentially. Another interesting card is Heavenly Dragon Circle, where you can tribute a wyvern and add a wyvern from your deck to your hand, and if you tribute a non-effect, you can special summon whatever you're going to search. It has another effect where if you control a non-effect monster, you can banish this from the graveyard and add a Tenyi. It adds consistency, it searches your deck, and especially since we're not having 3 copies of Swordsoul Emergence or Mo Ye or some of the more powerful cards, this card does help. We got 1 Infinite Impermanence, comes in the bundle deal. It's a good hand trap. It can also be set and used as a negate. A card I really like, it's Swordsoul Blackout. Essentially, you can destroy 2 of your opponent's cards by destroying 1 of your own wyvern monsters. But the reason I really like it, even though that first effect is good, if it's banished from the graveyard, you can special summon a token. Getting the tokens is really important because the tokens are tuners. They allow you to go into your synchro plays. Another card I actually like, and I didn't think I would like that much, is Fist of the Unrivaled Tenyi. Essentially, this card is, if you control a token, or you control any of the links that are normals, which are really easy to bring out, you can negate anything, any spell, trap, or monster effect. Also has a bonus effect where if this card would be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can just special summon a monster from your extra deck that doesn't have an effect. And the best monster that doesn't have an effect is definitely Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So just being able to special summon this is kind of cool on its own. Of course, you could special summon stuff like Berserker of Tenyi if you don't want to run Blue Eyes. A lot of the really good cards in the extra deck are super rare or ultra rare, and I didn't want to make this deck really expensive. I wanted to make it as cheap as possible. The only way to make them is using Adhara by special summoning it on the field, and if we're not able to bring out a token or whatever, we normal summon Taia or Mo Ye, and we're able to go instantly into a Synchro 5. These are the Synchro 7s, and the only way to make them is using Adhara along with any of the level 6s. There's other ways to bring out the Synchro 7s, as in if you banish the spells, you can increase or decrease the level of a monster by 1, which would allow you to, instead of going into a Synchro 8, you can go into a Synchro 7. So these aren't really that good, but they are there. They are synchros you can make. The better one, what I would recommend as you get more ultra rare tokens or you can craft more of this card, is Swordsoul Grandmaster. You can add a Swordsoul card from your deck to your hand. Also, you can banish a Swordsoul or Wyvern in your graveyard, negate any monster effect your opponent has. It's just really, really good because as soon as you synchro it, you get another card and you can keep doing plays. And the big boss monster, the Synchro 10, and Synchro 10s are really important in this deck, is Supreme King Sovereign. This guy is a really big dude, and he only gets bigger for every card it's banished, and your opponent's monsters lose 100 attack and defense. He also has an effect where if he would be destroyed by card effect, you can just banish any one card from your graveyard, and then on top of that, if any card is banished, you can banish one card your opponent has in their graveyard and on the field. Really, really cool boss monster. Although he isn't ultra rare, he is extremely worth it, and if you're going to play this deck, he is definitely the best Synchro 10 that you need. Then we have 3 Monk of Tenyi. He's just a link one, he allows easy plays. We run a super rare Shaman of Tenyi. This has the effect where if a non-effect monster attacks, which includes the Monk guy, you can just destroy one card your opponent controls. Also, you can discard a card, target a Wyvern in your graveyard, and special summon it. Pretty cool. And then we run Berserker of Tenyi, which is more of a big beater normal monster. So after you built this deck and you want to upgrade it, it's important to add in cards that improve the extra deck because the extra deck currently is very, very limited. You want to add in cards like Byaxia and Yazi. And easy cards you can take out would definitely be any of the synchros that is not a Swordsoul. Another Synchro 10 that is really, really powerful is called Verdun de Fleur. This card has the effect where you can negate any card and you can also destroy a card on the field. It's a Synchro 10. It works perfectly in the deck. It is amazing. So this is a deck at max rarity. We're running a bunch of hand traps. We have Max C, we have one effect filler just because I like it because it's super shiny. Ash Blossom. Our main deck is cut down, but as you'll notice, it's kind of similar to how we had it over there, except we're running a lot more super rare cards and ultra rares. So we cut down Adhara to 2, but we're running 3 Mo Ye, and we also have this other card called Incredible Aslesia. This is an effect where you can just special summon it if your opponent controls a monster, and then you can tribute it and special summon a Swordsoul from your deck. Really, really useful in this deck. Also, we have this other card called Arch Nemesis. Essentially what it does is it stops our opponent from special summoning, and then we run cards that let us draw more, Pot of Desires. We got Vessel for the Dragon Cycle, which allows us to send a Wyvern from our deck to the graveyard and access more cards. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We just run a lot more powerful cards, and we cut out some of the cards that were normal and rare. The extra deck I would say is more important. Like we run Yazi, Byaxia. We have this other one called Draco Berserk. It's a really good Synchro 8, and you can easily go into Synchro 8s in this deck. Another thing you can easily go into in this deck is definitely the Synchro 10s. So we're running 2 Baron de Fleur because it's really, really powerful. The negate is really good. We have a rank 4 just in case we need to go into it and we need to protect ourselves. We also have Zeus, which is really cool. And then we still keep the Monk of Tenyi package. So here we are, we're using the budget variant. We have a lot of plays in our hand actually. One of the plays is we got Stategist Longyuan, which is you just discard a card, you can special summon this along with the token and easily go into a Synchro 10. We also have this guy, so we can tribute any one of our monsters during either player's main phase and special summon him. And we also have Taia, so we can banish a card in our graveyard and special summon the token and go into a Synchro 8. And we have Fist, just in case something goes wrong. So we top deck a Tenyi, which allows us to go into a nice play. Just special summon it. We have a little protection. We go long queue. We pitch the virtual world in our hand. He ends up using Phoenix Enforcer to pop our long queue. And we're going to bring out this guy. And the really cool thing is he did that because he didn't want us to go into a Synchro 10. But he couldn't really stop the Synchro 10 because we had this guy in our hand. And because of this guy, we're still able to go into Synchro 10, and we also get an additional effect where this guy can banish a card in the field or in the graveyard. So we're going to banish his Phoenix Enforcer. So Phoenix Enforcer is not coming back anymore. Not only that, because a card is banished, Supreme King gets the effect where we can banish another card on the field and in his graveyard. So in total, we banish 3 cards. And we banish his Dasher because pretty much whenever people use Fusion Destiny, they send a Celestial and a Dasher. And Celestial is only useful if you have another Destiny hero in the graveyard. So we're going to banish the Dasher because Celestial hero is going to be dead for the rest of the duel. And now we just summon Taia and then summon a token. We go into Synchro 8. And I mean, we're in a really good position. We have both of our boss monsters out. We're able to like do a lot of things, and we're going to be able to set a Fist of the Unrivaled. We also search out like kind of like a Monster Reborn card. So if we really want to like do things, we can, and we do. We bring out this guy, our opponent scoops, and that was the first duel. And here we go. This is the second duel. Our opening hand is very, very interesting. We have 2 of the guys who we can special summon during the main phase, and we're playing against another Aluber deck. So I'm curious of what he's going to make, because this deck can definitely do a lot of things. And he's going to use Mass Change number 2, bring out Dark Law, which is really, really good. Dark Law essentially has the effect of we add anything to our hand, you can banish a random card in our hand. Also, any card that's sent to our graveyard is banished instead. And then that's not all. He's going to bring out a Masquerade. Masquerade's not as scary. If we activate a card, we pay like 600 life points in order to activate. But we're going to be able to do a lot. And I really love the Tenyis here, because Tenyis can just special summon themselves and we get like a free body, which is nice. He also has no negates. He has nothing in his hand that can stop us, and nothing in his graveyard can stop us. So we're free to go into any synchro or any plays that we want. First thing we're going to do is go into our big boss monster. That's why we run 1, just because he's so good. And then we're going to do Mo Ye, reveal, special summon a token, go into battle phase, attack his Dark Law, because I don't really want to lose too many materials. And we're able to get rid of both his monsters, and he scoops. So this opening hand is also really interesting. We have 2 traps, 1 Monster Reborn like spell, and 1 Searcher. And that 1 Searcher really came in clutch because we're able to search out our best starter in the entire deck to immediately go into a Synchro 10. That's why I like this deck, because a lot of the monsters are normal and rare, and they go into really, really powerful cards. Although the really powerful cards, like the Synchro 10, is an ultra rare, so he's kind of expensive, but like we're able to do all this. We're able to bring out our level 4 and then immediately go into a Synchro 8. And then our Synchro 8 is going to get us a search. Our level 4 guy, since he's used as a Synchro, he's going to be able to send something from our deck to the graveyard. And right now, we're pretty much just being chilling. We're sitting pretty, man. Set both the traps. And the cool thing is, these traps are not activatable because we don't control a non-effect. But if any of them are destroyed, we get to special summon a non-effect from our extra deck. And that is the Blue Eyes, who has 4,500 attack. So even if these get destroyed somehow, we're gonna be okay. So he's getting normal summon Joker. He's playing a pendulum deck, which is kind of cool because like I love pendulums. You know, I make a lot of pendulum videos. I'm gonna negate his Joker. Also, we're gonna banish a card, and because we banished a card, oh no, never mind. We're not able to use Supreme King because he has no monster in his graveyard. So he's just gonna start activating a little bit of his effects. I think he's trying to figure out what to do. And he's playing a different pendulum variant than the one I usually play. He's running a lot of Odd Eyes cards. But as soon as he gets a card in his graveyard, Supreme Sovereign is live, as long as any of our cards can be banished. So he's going to Pendulum Summon 3. He's going to activate this, Harmonizing Magician. And here's where I was a little scared, because this is a play that I do all the time in Pendulum deck. Essentially, you go Harmonizing Magician, you search out Oath Dragon from your deck, you go into a Synchro 10, you go into Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur here can negate any of my monsters and can negate anything I do, also can destroy a card on the field. So I was like, if it goes into that, I might be a little screwed. But instead he links off into Electromite. So I was like, okay, well, now that his Oak Dragon is banished, I'm going to activate Supreme Sovereign and just banish his Electromite. And also banish a card from his graveyard. And now he's sitting on 2 Pendulums. What is he going to do? He's going to go into Dragster, which is actually pretty good. Dragster can negate any spell or trap just by reducing its level by 2. I'm going to normal summon Mo Ye, and then I'm going to attempt to go into more plays, and he's just going to scoop. So our opening hand is really interesting. I always say it's interesting when we open up with multiple of Auspice, because it's not the best card in our deck. We have way better, but it is going to do something in this game. We're just going to normal summon this guy, and we're going to set Blackout, because Blackout is only live as long as we have a Wyvern on our side of the field. He's playing Kaijus, so that's pretty cool. I had a lot of options here to summon this guy from my hand by tributing the kaiju that he did, but I was like, there's really no point. So I'm going to normal summon this guy. I'm going to banish the one in my graveyard, bring out the token, and I'm going to go into a Synchro 8. And the Synchro 8 I usually go into is Swordsoul Grandmaster. Like, this card is really, really important. It's going to search me a card, and Tenyi is going to send a card from my deck to the graveyard. So, after doing all that, I search out the Monster Reborn like card, and I send a Tenyi. The Tenyi that I send is the one where, if it's in the graveyard and I control normal, I can banish it and special summon a card. He's going to Nibiru me, which is going to get rid of everything, and he's going to give me like a huge token with 7,100 attack. So I'm going to use the card since I have controlled token, special summon a card, set Blackout, and now that I control Wyvern, if he controls 2 cards, I can activate Blackout, and I can get rid of his 2 cards. So I'm just waiting on him to like summon 2 cards. And he does. Enters battle phase, boom, Blackout. Destroy my Tenyi, destroy both his cards. And he's just going to have to end after that. Now it's all up to my top draw because I'm not really going to be able to do much with this card in hand. And it's a Monster Reborn. So we bring back pretty much one of the best cards and he just skips. He's like, oh, no, I know it's coming. And it's like, yep, that's it. So this is going to be the final duel and it's the longest duel. I'm just going to be talking about the deck a little bit. The deck has some normal summons where like you have Tenyi and you have one copy of Yu, which allows you to like easily go into the Synchro 8s. We also have the level 6 guy, I forgot his name, Stategist, that lets you go into the Synchro 10s. Those are more of the more important cards, but we also run the Tenyis. As you'll see here, the Tenyis also let you extend plays, and the Tenyis are just amazing. Let me be completely honest. Because of the Tenyis, I'm able to summon a bunch of monsters without really committing any of my normal summons or any of the cards in my hand, all of just like one card. And I'm running a lot of the Tenyi support cards just because genuinely they're really good. Like, Fist of the Unrivaled is an Omni negate. As long as I control normal monster, it can negate anything. Like, that is just genuinely really cool, and it's only a rare. Like, cards that are super, super powerful are really useful in this build because we're not trying to spend a lot of money on ultra rares. We're not running a bunch of hand traps. We're trying to keep the deck as cheap as possible. And because of these really powerful archetype cards, like Blackout and Fist of the Unrivaled and even the Tenyis, which I used a lot of, and the Sword Souls, were able to bring out very powerful boss monsters without really spending a lot of gems. But yeah, that is the video. I hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. Maybe I'll catch you later. Peace.